Hello friends, it's Chelsea Face again. I hope you're doing well today. Today's video is going to be my end of the year 2024 reading stats. I have said this before in previous reading stat videos. This is mostly for myself, but if you are interested in my reading habits and my goals and things that I accomplished in the year of 2024, then continue watching. So every year I like to keep certain statistics of my reading just to kind of have an idea of where my reading is going and how it went for 2024. I do apologize for this being a little late into January, but I've had 3 deaths in my family, very semi-suddenly. They were all kind of expected, but they did all kind of just happen all at once. So I hope you can understand a little bit of my delays. I did have some videos pre-filmed, so that's very fortunate. I did have to deal with those things, and I've got one more that I've got to deal with that's more recent. So yeah, just keep my family in your thoughts. Anyways, not to turn the video into something super gloomy, but I did want to keep you updated on that. And why I've been semi-absent. In the year 2024, I read a total of, let me check, 141 books. This includes manga, graphic novels, comics, regular books, anything I read. That was all 141 of them. To break that down just a little bit further, I did read 20 regular, like, literary books. Last year I only read 3. I got a little bit more into reading my regular books this year, which is really exciting. I want to continue to do that. For manga, I read 120 volumes. For this, I count omnibuses as one. So if it's a 3-in-1, I still count it as one volume because it is one collected volume. I might change that next year. I'm not sure. But because it only counts it as one on my Goodreads, that's how I calculate that statistic. Last year I did 179. So I did read a little bit more in total last year. Still, I'm really proud of that number. I always give myself a goal of 100 books and I always break it, except for the first year that I did it because it was when I was just getting back into reading and I was reading a lot more like word books. So I'm pretty proud of that. As far as pages read, I read 29,000 pages. That is an estimate because Goodreads doesn't always count things correctly. Manga tend to be in the 200 to 300 range, and then my regular books tend to be 300 to 500 depending on what the book is and if it's adult or YA. So I'm pretty proud of that number. It's a good amount of pages read. The largest book I read was The Goblet of Fire. I don't talk a lot about her books because I don't think she's a good person, so we're gonna move on. The shortest book I read was Corn Daddy. This was a video that we made. You can find the link to it in the description below. We just did it for funsies. It was like a 60-page, less than 100, I can't remember exactly, novella about a man, an anthropomorphized man that is corn, and it was smut. It was just trash, but it was so funny. Me and my husband both read it at the same time, and then we immediately put on our costumes, and then we immediately talked about our thoughts on it, and it was hilarious. Go watch that video if you are an adult and you want a good laugh. It was really fun. And the average book length was 207 pages, which that makes sense for my manga. You know, manga is usually around that range anyways. My average rating this year was a 4.4, which is exactly the same as last year. So that's pretty consistent. I think I am getting better at knowing the kinds of manga and books that I do like to read. So I'm reading less 2 and 3 stars lately. I don't think I've read a 1 star in like 2 years. So that's really exciting that my ratings are getting higher because I'm learning more about my own interests. I read 39 shonen manga. Last year I did 66, so I read a little bit less in the shonen category. For shoujo manga, I read 65 this year, and last year I did 86, so still less than last year. And then josei, I read 15. I read 1 more than last year, so last year I did 14. And then seinen manga, I only read 2 this year, and last year I read 12. So I'm reading less seinen. I do like seinen, but I think I'm a little pickier about it than the other demographics for some reason. I think a lot of it tends to just be a little too angsty for me. I don't mean to use that word in a negative tone, but it's not that it's too dark. I think it's just not the subject matters that I tend to go for. So if I do read a seinen, it's probably romance, sort of sexually explicit category, more than like action or drama or whatever, just because that's what I prefer. My top 3 genres, I had to go through and individually count these. And if you don't remember last year, I do this based off of what I consider the series. So if I'm reading something that technically has like 5 genres to it, I'm going to pick the one that I have like an overlasting effect on. So if I get the vibe this is a romance or this is a fantasy or an action, that's what I'm going to call that series on this spreadsheet. My top 3 genres though were romance, I read 62 of those, action, I read 13 of those, which is a huge jump in number, 11 sci-fi, and also 11 slice of life. So those 2 were tied for 3rd, but that's pretty on the nose for how I tend to go. I think last year fantasy was up there at number 1, so that's kind of interesting how I read a lot more fantasy last year and then a lot more romance this year. My new series that I started, I always try to start less than the year before, which I did do this year. I only started 18 new series, which is pretty good, but last year I did 38. So I did better this year than last year. So yay, go me. Finished series. Last year I only finished 5 series. This year I finished 8. So I'm pretty proud of that number. One of my goals last year in my goals for 2024 was to read and complete more of my series that are on my shelves, especially if they're already finished publishing, and I hit that goal, so I'm really happy about that. I dropped 6 series this year, which is 2 more than last year. I only did 4 last year, but most of them were ones that I just did not enjoy. If you're interested in what I dropped, I can always make a video on that. I tend to do that every once in a while, just as a fun video, but I don't do it at the end of the year because sometimes I only have like 1 that I dropped in a year and sometimes I have 8. So that's all my statistics that I have for you. But I did want to talk about some goals for my channel. Every year I have had a goal to reach 1,000 subscribers here on my YouTube channel. It's been pretty out of reach for a while, but I think we're getting really close. The last time I checked it was like 811 or 12, and it goes up and down depending on, you know, the content I put out and how often I put it out. But I do want to thank you all for being here and hitting that subscribe button and hitting the like button and commenting on my videos, because that does really help push me in that algorithm that is the craziness of YouTube.
Hey, I'm sorry to bust in here while you're recording. I'm gonna head to work.
I'll be back. I'm just gonna, it won't take super long. And then when I get back, we running.
Yay!
We running.
We running!
We running.
But yeah, my goal again this year is to reach 1,000 subscribers, and I feel like I'm getting closer. Another goal that I have, which is really scary to say out loud because I tend to not stick to goals that I say verbally, but I'm going to do it and really push myself this year. I want to post 2 videos a week. 1 minimum, because I just really enjoy making this content, and I want to push myself to get more creative and not just do hauls, not just do reviews, not just do wrap-ups. I want to try other things, and I think that doing more frequent video content will force me to get creative. And some of them might be projects that I work on for like a whole month, or they might just be a vlog here or there, or they might just be a simple 5-minute review video. But I do want to spice up my content a little bit and do more than just the typical 4 video formula that I've been doing, which has been fun. I still will do those videos because they are fun, they get views, people enjoy them. I enjoy making them, and I don't want to change things just because I think they'll get more views. Nobody watches my vlogs. I do those kind of as just like a personal home video kind of thing, and to see my reading habits and how they evolve. But I'm gonna keep posting those when I feel like making one. But I will challenge myself to come up with other more interesting video ideas. I want to try to have my husband be more involved in my YouTube content. He has started his own channel back up again, and I want to support him as well. We stream video games, and we record videos together. So if you're interested in seeing us play video games together, I will have his channel in the description. It's FoxiSamurai on YouTube, so go check him out, go subscribe. He is slowly trying to make that his dream job. So I hope that you'll go support him as well. He's a funny guy. I married him for a reason. I want to read more of my regular books. I've got a huge TBR of word books that I have just let pile up and things that I truly am interested in reading. I've just been prioritizing manga, which is fine because I do really love manga, but I do want to read a little bit more of my books, especially since my cousin just sold me a whole bunch of Stephen King books, and I have always wanted to just do a deep dive into Stephen King. And I think I might make a video every time I read one of his books, or if I even DNF it, I want to talk about why. So if you're a Stephen King fan, or if you're someone who enjoys horror or just my thoughts on literature, be sure to subscribe for that as well. But yeah, you guys, thank you so much for supporting me, and those are most of the goals and the things that I did in 2024 and how I feel going into 2025. So I hope that you're all safe and well. Cherish your families, take care of yourself, enjoy your reading, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.